everyone, my name is Mary Brancazio and I'm a senior here at STAC. Here I'm with Professor Bill Pryor. So Professor Pryor, when did your interest for acting and directing start as a child?
Well, as a very young child, I've had my friends come over by my house. We had a little club and we would do act outs. So we'd do pratfalls and scenes from movies, short little scenes, vignettes. And I would say, that's a great take, that's not so good. You get the gold star, you don't get a star at all. It started when I was very young. And then my interest in photography came from my father, who was a photographer.
Oh, okay, so he was the one who influenced you to continue that into college?
Yeah, when I went to college, I went as a fine arts major, but I also studied photojournalism, and a lot of my photography that was done at that time, they liked. They said it was pretty good stuff.
So what made you switch from photography to videos?
Well, that happened when I went to NYU Film School for professional filmmaking studies. When I was there, the big talk was, hey, you got to know about video. This was in the early 80s, it's 1979. They said, this is what's happening. Video's happening. It's going to replace film, supposedly, which it never did. So I listened carefully, and I said, yeah, I'm going to study some video. I'm going to find out more about it. And
so is that what made you start your own business in 1980?
Yeah, in 1980, I started my own business called Starway Videotape and Film Production. So I had a little business on the side and kept very busy. And that's where I made some money, too, during the 80s and 90s.
So how did you, from a college student, to create your own business? How was that?
Actually, it was the first time anyone in my family had ever been in a business, and I just kind of knew some people who were lawyers and stuff, told me how to register, and I knew I had the skills to do it, and all it took was really putting an ad in the Yellow Pages at that time, which was a big deal, you know. Nowadays it's nothing.
Now it's social media.
Right, now it's social media, and that got me some calls, and then word of mouth pretty much spread the word around that I could do certain things.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah. So business was well by word of mouth?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the way any real business makes a lot of money, is by people saying, hey, he did a great job, or whatever, the business is really good, try them. And that's the way most of the good advertising came from people recommendations, recommending my business.
Oh, good. So what was your favorite event that you filmed?
Oh, boy, that's a good question. I think, the one that students always talk to me about is was it 1990, I think it was. We made a music video for a musician whose name is Bobby Massano.
Oh,
and we went to the Ulster County Performing Arts Center, and we put a big sign on the outside of that, and we said, if you want to be on MTV, come watch Bobby Massano play on Saturday. And we got a whole group of people there, and we shot the video, and we shot the music was played, and we shot it over and over again, about 8 times. And that music video was edited and went to MTV. It was broadcast on, of all places, Headbangers Ball.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So how did that opportunity even happen, that you got to videotape that for MTV?
It's interesting because most great opportunities come through connections or networks or sometimes family members. In this case, one of my family members, Bobby Massano, was a performing musician, and he was well known in the musician world. He played with Stevie Winwood and the Blues Brothers and all those big name bands. And then he formed his own band. And he knew that I was involved in video production. He asked me to do it. He was my cousin, my wife's cousin.
So from your long journey from photography to film to owning your own business, did you ever picture yourself becoming a professor?
Well, yeah. There's a very interesting story about when I was very young in kindergarten, of all places, in kindergarten, in my Catholic school. I was a Catholic school boy. The Sister Ann picked me to be a Professor Whiz Kid when I was in kindergarten.
Oh, really?
So at the end of the year, we had to give a performance. She picked 3 people, and one of them was Professor Whiz Kid. And she said, I think you're going to be a professor someday, so I'm going to pick you to do Professor Whiz Kid. So I had the cap and gown. I went out there with my professorial robes, and I did a little speech. And I think that was kind of fate. When you do that in kindergarten, it tells you something. But I've always been a pretty good teacher. I like relating to young people, and I enjoy the interaction. I learned from them, they learned from me. Yeah. So it was kind of destined that I was going to end up as a teacher.
Did you ever email that teacher and say, hey, I'm actually a professor now?
Well, that was a long time ago. That was really old school. It goes way back to like the 50s, so she's probably not around anymore.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah. But she knew your destiny now that you became a professor.
She was pretty good, yeah. She picked it out. I mean, I couldn't do that myself with my kindergarten. Even my son, I don't know really what he's going to do, but she knew me pretty well, I guess.
Oh,
she's intuitive.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you just a few fire questions.
Sure.
So who's your favorite director and why?
All right, well, quickly, I think there are many that I really like, but probably the all-time favorite is Francis Ford Coppola with The Godfather. The Godfathers 1 and 2, not 3, 1 and 2 are my favorites. A lot of my family members that came from my mother's side from Sicily are in that film. They come from that part of the world.
Oh, that's nice.
So I liked him very much, and he's done tremendous work. I like his operatic sense of when you see a Coppola film, it's like grand opera. You know, everything is
like
kind of
more
over the top. Theater, yes.
So who's your favorite music artist?
That's a really, really tough one. I thought about this one before. I was thinking, who am I going to name as my favorite music artist? And I really have a hard time with that one. To be honest with you, the most fun band that I've ever been to was Van Halen. I thought the Van Halen shows were out of sight. They were crazy. I also, to be honest with you, I like AC/DC. They're a classic band that I like a lot.
So speaking of fun, what do you do for fun?
On my spare time, I have a motorcycle, and I travel.
On a motorcycle.
Yeah, when I was younger, in my younger days, I went to Woodstock on a motorcycle.
Oh.
And finally, after being a good daddy and providing for my family, I said to my wife, "It's time for me to have a toy." She said, "What do you want?" So I said, "Well, I've been waiting to buy that Harley Davidson." So I bought the Harley, and that's my fun toy. I like to ride around. I go out to western Pennsylvania and beyond.
So if you were on your motorcycle and you're listening to music, who would you listen to, Adele or Madonna?
I think it's Adele. I like Adele a lot.
Adele?
I really do. You all know that. I mean, people know that I like Adele. Yeah.
That's very interesting. So that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining myself and Professor Bill Pryor for our interview. Have a good day. Bye.
That was good.